do want to talk about the pros and cons. Ultimately, somebody might just be sitting on the fence and saying they've spent, and we've discussed this on this show as well, Mohit. It was a fascinating conversation. Why that 1 crore mark is so significant in the life cycle of somebody building wealth. Because the first crore is incredibly hard to do, but once you've gone past that, the accumulation of wealth is much faster. So the trade-off ultimately is having 80 lakhs to 1 crore and then saying, okay, I'm going to put this, ultimately you're going to have to put that if you're buying a 2.5 crore property, you're going to have to put a sizable amount of that. If not the entire 1 crore, you're talking about 70 lakhs that you put as a down payment. And you are back to almost square one where you're talking about 25 lakhs that you've now got invested in various assets. So why don't you lay out, of course, you can't measure the emotional aspect of it. And we're talking about eventually buying a house, right? We're not talking about not buying a house. So, but why don't you measure and lay out the pros and cons of both?
Why don't? Sure. So look, I'll go with the pros first. I think because I've taken one just for my own residential purposes. It's not a financial call. It's not an investment call. So that's a disclaimer out here. I stay there, right? So it's more an emotional call which I've taken. But look, in a city like Mumbai or anywhere you're staying in India, every 11 months, that hassle of moving into a new property, finding out, moving your goods, once you have a settled family, your child's education, you've planned somewhere nearby where you're staying, right? Your workplaces are all aligned to that entire thing, your transport, your entire ecosystem. And you live in the city, Alex, right? You understand the pain of setting up a full ecosystem around you. That's your domestic helps and everything. So it's
and your
extremely,
friends.
and your friend circle, obviously. As you grow older in life, you get thicker with few friends, and then you don't want to leave that space. So that's the biggest thing. The second biggest aspect, which I believe is understated, is the immense amount of tax benefits which the first property gives you.
As things stand right now, Mohit.
As things stand right now, they have taken a lot of it back. And look, I've been quite vocal about it, that it's a measure in great state. Ideally, no asset class should have so much of arbitrage over any other asset class that your financial calls are all taken just basis the tax arbitrage, right? So I think it's all in good stead that you've taken away the indexation advantage and everything on fresh home purchase.
So we could face a situation in the next few years where...
I don't think so it'll be retrospective, though.
No, it won't be retrospective, but you could have a situation where that 2 lakh benefit is no longer available.
It is. If you go for new tax regime, typically, then you don't have the ATC benefits and other things.
But they could remove the old tax regime altogether.
Pretty much possible.
In which situation you will not have that 2 lakh rupee benefit.
Absolutely. But as of now, as things stand, ceteris paribus, my disclaimer out here. But so that 1.5 lakh, and if you take a joint home loan, Alex, with your spouse,
it's
as
2 lakh and 2
co-borrower, as co-applicant, right? So it's 1.5 ATC, which is 3 lakhs. And then you have the interest benefit, which is 2 lakh per name. So that's 4 lakhs. The 7 lakhs of deduction on your taxable income, that's massive. That's massive. The first property really serves you extremely well. And if by chance that first property is worth 50 lakhs, trust you me, it virtually comes free to you. It virtually comes free to you, because then you have an additional EEA which kicks in, where your tax benefit can go up from potentially 2 to another 50,000. It can go up to 2.5.
Oh, because of the value of the property for those special cases.
If the value of the property is 50 lakhs up to that. Though it's difficult. In a city like Mumbai, it's fairly difficult to come into that bracket.
All of our viewers are staying in the smaller towns and cities make use of this benefit.
Absolutely. But even then, that 7 lakh benefit is substantial. Substantial enough. It gives you immense amount of tax saving, gives you a house to stay in where you are safe from your daily hassles. Plus, my sense is, Alex, the understated benefit is that it gives you the power of leveraging. When we invest, when do our SIPs, we don't use the power of leveraging. I'm not taking a loan and then leveraging myself out and then increasing my SIPs manifold, right? I'm doing my SIPs out of what I save. I'm not taking a loan.
So how does that relate to the property?
Right, because when you're taking a property, you're just putting 20-30% of the capital. The remaining everything, the 80% of the money is being put by the bank, which is coming to at 8-9%, right? So that's, though the capital is costly, right? But still it is giving you power of going for a larger purchase, which you otherwise wouldn't have been able to do if you were you to accumulate that same corpus of 2 crores and then buy the property outright. Which means without taking a loan, it would have taken you 10-15 years or whatever time frame, right? So you are preponing that entire purchase and perhaps that appreciation which might kick in. which is, let's say, even if I assume it was a nominal rate of appreciation, which is just the inflation
5%.
appreciation, 5%, even then you account for quite a lot of it, right? So 2.5% rental yield, 5-6% of inflation, you get to that 7.5, and that's why the interest rates are around 8.5 or 9, right?
So it's a strong argument on the other side as well,
Yes.
to not postpone your purchase. Of course,
there's a fine balance
there's a
always.
balance.
There's a fine balance
between the
always.
two.